Water, the most basic and most essential component of any life and ecosystem. Without it, nothing much goes on. And in Nairobi, it is no less. As you walk the streets of this beautiful city, bustling with life as it is, you'll come across some of the most industrious people. The mama mboga by the corner, that small joint that you can pop in and grab some delicious lunch, the loyal shoe shiner with endless stories, or even that aspiring industry in Kariobangi, all share one common thing: their spirit and zeal. But in the heart of all these enterprises, again, is water.
Kwa majina naitwa Muteti Musembi ama Wells. Mimi niko na hii car wash hapa Deep West. Na ile maji tunatumia hapa, tunatumia maji ya kununua ya road. Na hiyo maji kwa siku tunaweza tumia 5,000 liters. Na hiyo maji pia kikombea na ya Kanjo, afadhali ile ya Kanjo.
Na mimi kama Ngugi huwa nafanya biashara ya hoteli, na watu wale huwa nasavu hapa kwa siku ni kama watu 60 kwa siku. Ingawaje kuna kuanga na changamoto moja ama mbili ikifika upande wa maji, kwa sababu kama hakuna maji kama leo inabidi nunue maji kwa jerikeni moja ama mtungi moja ya 20 liters na unuanga kama shilingi 20 ama shilingi 40. Lakini na wakati ambapo nanunua maji, kusema ukweli, faida yangu inakuanga chini ama saa nyingine nakosa faida.
The water demand outstrips the supply of water in our area of jurisdiction. Basically, we require water. The demand for water is over 800,000 cubic meter per day, and we are only able to supply just around 640,000 cubic meter of water per day.
Despite such a huge demand for this essential commodity, the supply is wanting. Residents and businesses in the city can go for days without any water supply from the city government. Vendors, on the other hand, are making a killing supplying the commodity.
For there to be some sense of equitable distribution of that resource, then we have to do rationing. So Nairobi Water does rationing. This is
Nairobi Water haiwatoshelezi maji, so hiyo hapo ndio tunaigilia. Mtu hawezi kaa bila maji, ni kitu muhimu sana. Tumekuwa tukipelekea watu kwa manyumba. Kuna wenye wako na mifugo, wanapea mifugo yao, na wenye wanatumia kwa gardener, wako na tushamba tudogo hapo, wanapea, wananyunyizia hapo, vitu kama hizo.
Mimi majina yangu naitwa Paul, lakini jina job mimi najulikana kama Mato. Mimi hapa kwa City Park. Hapa ni City Park Market. Mimi job yangu ni kuwauzia maji. Hasa huu mzae ni besta yangu wa miaka mingi sana. Nimemuuzia maji miaka mingi sana. Zaidi ya miaka 12. Huu mzee nikimuuzia maji. Hii area hii yote ya hoteli ni mimi wana supply hapa maji. Kila siku mimi wanauza mitungi 50 ya maji hapa sokoni.
We have had studies that have looked at how households do cope with unreliability. Households have come up with several mechanisms to cope with unreliability when we have rationing. So these households have, for example, put in place measures such as buying extra containers so that they can store water, just so that in case of a lack of water, then they're able to go back to their reserves. But this is not the case for farms. We don't have good knowledge from a policy perspective on how farms cope with water. So we set out to understand how these farms do cope with inadequate water or unreliable water. Basically, what is emerging is that just like the case of household, farms are also coping with unreliable water, and Probably their way of coping is fairly different from the farms, from the households, because where they have to store water, they do so with the bigger containers, unlike the households.
So for the production to be successful, there is one basic thing that is very important for the success, and that is water. So for our source of water, we have struggled quite a lot because we have tried 4 sources of water. And the first one is the national grid, the water from the county council, that has not been reliable at all. We tried it, we have the taps and the systems pumping up to the tanks you see behind us, but the water is available like once or twice in a week.
On average, most of the times, the service provider is able to only provide water of up to 18 hours in a day. Sometimes it is even low in certain areas, so it's not like it is a constant figure.
If you deal with city council, sometimes this water comes, maybe it comes once a week, and since we are dealing with rooms, Airbnbs, we are dealing with kitchen, we have a car wash, we are using a lot of water, and we cannot rely on city council.
It then means that for these farms, it is not because they cannot pay for the water bills that is why they're moving to the use of to the coping approaches, but probably it's because of fear of failure of availability of this water that drives them into using this.
In Kenya, as in many low and middle income countries LMICs, the reliability of supply in towns and cities remain a key problem, depending upon a business's ability to substitute to alternative forms of water sources. Reliance on municipal supplied water may result in commercial businesses taking the full brunt of water shortages.
The agricultural facilities pay more to cope than these other businesses like eateries and bars or restaurants. They pay not as much, though they pay also more, but agricultural facilities do pay more. So they will be more willing to pay for a more reliable means of water as opposed to sinking a borehole.
If the city council supply me with water, I don't need to worry about maintenance. I don't need to worry about anything. All I need to make sure is that I pay my bills. And if I can pay my bills and get the water, then it becomes lesser work for me. We have put a dam here. To create that dam, it's a lot of money. You understand? To maintain the dam equally, it's a lot of money.
With a reliable water system, this guy probably would have saved a bit of money.
We decided to dig a borehole. And since a borehole is very, very expensive, if at all the city councils wangekuwa watu reliable, would have dealt with city council.
So the third source of water is we dug a well at the bottom of the farm where there is near a swamp. We pump the water from there up to here. So then we got another problem of power. We don't have reliable power supply of electricity. And now today we had some visitors in the compound, and they are supposed to support us with the installation of solar power.
In order for water resource managers to better manage water resources and develop sustainable water infrastructure, it is important to assess the value commercial businesses place on improved reliability.
If it were reliable, it is the cheapest among all the other supplies. Unfortunately, is the weakest link for the supply of water. Is the one with the most challenges.
Maji ya Kanjo, vile nimekuwa mtu wa Nairobi zaidi ya miaka 20, naifahamu zaidi. Ni maji mazuri, ni maji treated. Kwa hivyo kama Kanjo wanaweza manage maji yao mzuri, ndio ningeikubali zaidi.
Poor water infrastructure could be a limiting factor to water-intensive commercial farms. Responding to water needs among the commercial water users therefore requires an understanding of men's and women's local knowledge systems.
If the national grid can improve, most of the young people who are starting farming would be successful. Most of the women and ordinary families who are doing farming would be successful. But currently it is not working. The cost of water is too high.
Kwa hivyo wakati maji ya Kajua imekuja mzuri, hata inabuni biashara yangu kwa sababu hata customer wangu wanafurahia.
So what the people are saying, the network water is affordable. Generally, it's affordable. Yeah. Is it reliable? You may have the infrastructure, but are the services of good quality? If the services are of good quality, then that would be another thing. Having understood that, is that are we able to fast track our water infrastructure development processes so that we are able to address the supply shortage? That comes back to the cost of financing the infrastructure.